What's up, guys? Welcome back to King Kraken Sports. Mike here, and I'm back with my last draft rankings video before I obviously update you guys on the old positions. Now, I still do have positions left to do as far as guys I haven't put up on YouTube yet, but that's just because I feel like no one really wants to watch a video on guards and centers. I don't know. Leave your feedback down below. If you guys actually want to see my rankings on guards and centers, or just put them all into one video and just do like top 5 guards, top 5 centers, just one video, get that over with, let me know and I'll do it. I have no problem doing it. It'll probably come sometime next week if you want it. I just don't really feel like that's something a lot of people would want to see anyways. So just let me know on that. But today we're going to talk about linebackers, and I really feel like this linebacker class could have been really, really good, and is just kind of average. Like at the beginning of the year, Raekwon McMillan, Reuben Foster, Jared Davis, like all of these guys were supposed to be just absolute beasts, and some of them are. And then, of course, I found some gems from last year while I was digging through the tape and around September and October, and guys like Anthony Walker and Zach Cunningham, and like guys like McMillan and Walker had really bad seasons. Jared Davis couldn't really stay healthy this year. There are some like sleeper guys that I'm still really working on, but for right now, he's pretty much been my top 5 for the whole year. The order's changed a bit, but it's pretty much been the same 5 guys. Number 1 is Reuben Foster out of Alabama. Now, at the beginning of the year, actually, Reuben Foster wasn't in my top 5. Looking at his junior tape, I really didn't see much that stood out to me. He looked rather slow and sluggish. Didn't feel like you could keep him on the field for 3 downs. I kind of felt the same watching him as I did watching Reggie Ragland, which was a 2-down linebacker at best, and like a pretty decent 2-down linebacker, but a 2-down linebacker nonetheless, and I don't want a 2-down linebacker in the first round. And then the USC game happened to start the year, and he was 15 pounds lighter. He was flying all over the field, but didn't lose any of that aggression and that power. There's the old saying that football isn't a contact sport, it's a collision sport. This dude, it's like being hit in a car crash when he hits you. Holy shit. This dude doesn't know soft. He just runs right through you. His big knock on him is that he never created a single turnover while at Bama. He has no fumbles forced and no interceptions or anything like that. That really doesn't matter to me. That's more of a case of like right place, right time type shit. And he's more of a form tackle. He'll hit you really hard, but he'll do it, with really good form. Honestly, and I know this is going to sound crazy, he's probably the closest thing I've ever seen to Patrick Willis. I didn't get to see Patrick Willis in college, but when you see Patrick Willis as a pro, I see Reuben Foster at Bama. Foster right now is in my top 5 players. In fact, right now, he's actually my number 6 player. So that definitely tells you all you need to know really about Reuben Foster and just how good he is, because I don't really give out high grades to linebackers often. Last year was an enigma because we had Miles Jack, Darren Lee, and Jalen Smith. But I don't usually like to give out really high grades for linebackers. He blows that out of the water. He's definitely the second best defender on that Bama defense, and that is saying a lot because of how loaded that defense is. Number 2 is Zach Cunningham out of Vanderbilt. I kind of caught on to this guy while reading an article way back in August, I believe. And I was just dying to watch some tape on him, Couldn't find any until the season actually started. And because by then I could actually go on and find like full-fledged games or condensed games on YouTube. And man, this dude flies all over the field. He doesn't hit as hard as Reuben Foster. He misses some tackles as well. He was the SEC's leading tackler this year. His instincts and reaction time are the best out of anyone in this group. And one game that really shows that well is his game against Georgia. It just so happens he finished that game with like 20 tackles or like 17 or 20 tackles, something ridiculous like that. He was everywhere in that game. I actually was watching that game for Nick Chubb, and Zach Cunningham just said, "No, you're watching it for me. This is my game." Cunningham, ironically enough, when I did my mock draft the other week, I actually originally completely forgot to put him in there because I assumed I had already put him in around the top 10, top 15. Cunningham is right now rated as my 21st overall player, so that's a first-round grade for me, usually about the top 22 or first-round grades. Definitely someone that I expect to go in the first round, probably a lot higher. But this class is so loaded at other positions that linebacker felt the brunt. Next up is Jared Davis out of Florida, another guy that at the beginning of the year I really did see like a two-down linebacker. I had him as my 4th rated linebacker coming in. He was off my board for a bit, then he was back on my board. But this year, his big knock, he played really well in coverages and everything like that, but he got hurt like a couple of times. Missed some time, got hurt in the SEC championship game. Hope he gets everything cleared up and is good to go by the combine. Should be a really interesting player to watch in the next level. I've given him a 2nd-round grade. He's in around that 30 to 40 range for me. Really expect him to do well wherever he's drafted, especially if he's drafted maybe by a team that's trading out of the late first round and into the second day, because then he can kind of go into a good situation on a good defense. Number 4 is Raekwon McMillan, my preseason number 1 linebacker, and man, his tape this year. He, again, looks really slow. His reaction time is not great, and he misses some really easy tackles. That's a big theme with some of these linebackers is missed tackles. McMillan, he shows glimpses of being like an amazing athlete. He was out covering Saquon Barkley like 40 yards down the field against Penn State on a wheel route in that game. But there are also times where he struggles to just move around in the box. He's very slow-footed, and his tape wasn't all that impressive this year. I've given him a late 2nd, early 3rd round grade. I think that's probably in around where he's going to end up going. Maybe he gets pushed up higher due to, I don't know, name value, Ohio State, I don't know. But I really don't see what I thought I saw on tape last year, which was a quick twitched athlete. I think I heard he put on weight a bit, and maybe that's part of the reason why that he looked a little slower. But yeah, his junior tape was nowhere near as good as his sophomore tape. And rounding out the top 5 is Anthony Walker, the linebacker out of Northwestern. Just like McMillan, really good sophomore tape, junior tape, really bad. Walker last year was walking around at about, no pun intended, about 225, 230. This year, he was listed at like 245. And you could tell he did lose a lot of his athleticism with that extra weight. He looked really sluggish, and it really seemed to slow down his game. Walker was a preseason top 10 overall prospect for me, and now he's somewhere in like the 75, 85 range. And that just really shows that, tape is king. Like, as much as these measurables and all this potential stuff, talk about potential and upside, tape ultimately for me is king. And if you have really bad tape, I can't give you a high grade. That's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Get the movement going, get the conversation going. Tell a friend, then tell that friend to tell a friend. And until next time, guys, talk to you later.